Welcome to another conversation at the table. My name is Pastor Chad. I am pastor here at the Table Church here in San Benito, and we're looking forward to a very busy weekend here at the table. Got a couple of weddings, and then on Sunday we've got our community lunch. You're invited. I want to make sure you know that. We'll have our Christmas service at 10:30 right here in our sanctuary, and then in our fellowship hall we'll have a community lunch, and you're invited. The community is welcome to come. If you can't bring a dish, don't worry about it. We'll have plenty of food. If you can, that'd be great too. It is potluck style, but it is for the community. It's for everybody. So that's what's going on here at the Table Church this weekend, and it should be a great weekend. One of the things that we've been doing throughout Advent here is making our way through the 1517 Advent devotional, Coming Home for Christmas. It's Advent in Isaiah, and it's been fantastic. If you want one of these, show up here at the table. In fact, you can come by the office, and we'll give you one. We'll make sure that you have a copy of this devotional. You can also order it at 1517.org at their website, but it's never too late. We've got about 6 days until Christmas. 5 days? Is it 5 days? Okay. Anyhow, it's never too late. You can always, in fact, you can even spend the Christmas break running through these devotionals on a daily basis. It's fantastic. Today we're in Isaiah 4. One of the things I've been thinking about too with Isaiah 4. Isaiah 4 is one of the most underrated, underappreciated passages in all of Isaiah. In fact, maybe all of the Bible. In fact, all of the meaning of life is contained here. All of the meaning of life, all of the Bible's meaning, all of history's meaning is found in these 5 verses in Isaiah chapter 4, and that's what our devotional is today for even in the 1517 devotional. But as I'm thinking about it, I've been reminded in just the past 48 hours, and it's hard to believe, 5 different situations that I've been privy to and actually have been part of the conversations and have come to me personally. 5 different situations in which people are spending this Advent season going through some really, really, really tough times. I mean, we're talking darkness. I mean, and Advent is about waiting in the darkness. And in these situations, there's death, there's health scare, there is crisis in the family, and in all 5 of these, I think the weight of the season is absolutely crushing. What does Isaiah have to say for this? What does Isaiah 4 have to say for this? Well, because it is dealing with the very core of who we are in these 5 verses, I think it has everything to do with people that are just going through some really tough times, going through darkness right here during Advent. And all of this is kind of timely too. In reading Isaiah 4, it hit me really hard. Isaiah 4 did this morning as I read it. For many, this isn't the most wonderful time of the year. But Isaiah 4 verses 2 through 6, those are the 5 verses. And it all begins with "on that day." That's a pet phrase of a lot of these prophets in the Old Testament, and they're all referencing the day of the Lord. On that day, they're looking toward the future. And I grew up in a context in which whenever you saw "on that day," you immediately thought, oh, that's at the end of time. That's for then, when all of it's over, Jesus returns, and we got the new heavens and new earth on that day. And then primarily it's in terms of judgment, only to find out the Bible doesn't always reference on that day about the very end of time. We'll get to that in a second. But it's also not talking about on that day in terms of judgment. Yeah, the day of the Lord's got a lot of judgment language, but there's also a lot of salvation language in it. There's a lot of beautiful language in regard to day of the Lord, and that's what we get here. So it all starts off with "on that day," the big, what we call eschatological or end of time days. This branch of the Lord is coming. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be glorious. And it's going to be a fantastic day for God's people. Here's what's going to happen on that day. And he talks about, Isaiah says, Jerusalem's filth is going to be cleansed. It's going to be washed away. There's a spirit of judgment that is coming. Now, that's not how we normally talk. When we talk about cleansing, we like the kind of cleansing where we just get a washcloth and we kind of wipe stuff off. The kind of cleansing that Isaiah is talking about is with fire, with judgment. It's not going to feel great. There's a finality to it. But when it comes to dealing with our sin, when it comes to dealing with our filth, with all the things that are wrong with us, God is not simply going to wave his wand and just magically make it disappear. In fact, that's not how he has done it. He's not going to do that at all. He hasn't done that. There will be judgment. See, Isaiah is speaking the truth about reality. God just can't just speak away, when he says wipe away sin, it's just like waving a magic wand and making it disappear. He's not going to ignore what's wrong in order to make things right. He's going to make things right by making things right. All right? But here's the shock of what Isaiah is talking about on that day, because it is coming. This is Isaiah 4. You start to get to Isaiah 6. You start to get to Isaiah 9, Isaiah 7. You begin to understand that on that day is referencing something far bigger, far more than just that very end of time. That's way down there, when all things come to an end, when the world ends. On that day starts with a manger. Yeah, on that day. So next time you see a manger scene, Day of the Lord. Just think Day of the Lord stuff. Your salvation has come. That's the day of the Lord. On that day. Starts with a manger. It's a branch, a shoot. And we've talked about that in one of the former devotionals. Something tender. Doesn't look like much. And that baby doesn't look like much. But let me tell you, that baby, he is going to deal with all things that are wrong once and for all. And see, that's how the day of the Lord is actually for us. It's actually moving toward us. That baby in the manger, that came in the manger, is coming for you. It's actually God moving from heaven. If you want to talk about motion and the trajectory of our salvation, it is from heaven coming down to earth, moving towards us. Moving toward. He's not moving away. He's not keeping himself at a distance. He's moving toward you. He's moving toward me. Because he absolutely loves us. Absolutely loves us. And then when Isaiah talks about washing and judgment, we can talk about on that day being way down there and judgment way down there, but the judgment that washes away sin, that gets rid of the filth, that gets rid of all things that are evil and sinful, that's the cross. You see, the day of the Lord begins at the manger, and the cross is in the middle of it all. So when we start thinking about Day of the Lord, if we're reading through Isaiah, if some of you may want to read through Isaiah, you start circling all those on that days, because on that day, that's the way the prophets talked, and Isaiah certainly talks that way. Our first reference point isn't way down there. The first reference point is the incarnation, Christ's birth, Christ's life, Christ's death, Christ's resurrection for you. On that day, he's going to cleanse all the filth. He's going to wash all the sin. Because the judgment that is talked about on that day, and the day of the Lord, lands on Jesus. So we want to, it's almost an escapism, or we're always wanting to talk about the day of the Lord, and on that day being somewhere toward the end of time, at the end of the world, and God's enemies are going to get theirs. I think that's how we typically talk about that. You understand that all landed on Jesus. at the cross. Yes, that's coming. Okay, don't get me wrong. There is going to be that day of that day. But we have to change our thinking on this in terms of when we're talking about judgment and we're talking about all this cataclysmic language of the prophets, that the cross is where all this happens. The cross is where all this happens. The biggest day in terms of spiritual warfare and Jesus dealing with sin is at the cross. That is the day of the Lord. And what's interesting about that then is that Isaiah then, as he unpacks this, that day becomes a shelter, a refuge for God's people. He talks about it being a canopy. I'm going to read, and I haven't done this yet. I'm going to read. This is how he speaks of it. When the Lord has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and cleansed the blood guilt from the heart of Jerusalem. So he's going to wash away filth. He's going to deal and cleanse the guilt by a spirit of judgment and a spirit of burning. The Lord will create a cloud of smoke by day and a glowing flame of fire by night over the entire side of Mount Zion. Talking about that pillar cloud of the pillar that's a cloud by day, fire by night. We've seen that all over the Old Testament. That's God's presence. That's God's dwelling among his people. And once and for all, when God deals with sin, he is going to dwell with his people once and for all. What we call that Shekinah glory presence is present in Jesus himself. That's John 1:14. The Word became flesh and tabernacled and dwelt among us. That glory presence is Jesus. He came for you. He came for me. He came to live with us forever. And Isaiah then talks about it being a shelter. He says there will be a shelter for shade from heat by day and a refuge and shelter from storm and rain, a canopy over all the glory. You see, that baby in the manger, he came to be your refuge and your shelter in the midst of darkness. He doesn't come to get rid of the darkness. He doesn't come to remove you from the darkness as much as we would like that. He's not coming to do any of that. He's come to be with you. He's come to be with you. See, God doesn't promise to get rid of the storm. He doesn't promise to get rid of what's going on. And so as I think about all this grief and the suffering and the pain and the disillusionment that I've heard and the crisis that I've heard in the past 48 hours, God's not promising to remove us from these things. What he is promising is that he will be with us. And you want to know why he's going to be with us? Because he loves us. Because he absolutely loves us. The branch has come. The judgment has landed on Jesus. The cleansing is real. And the glory of God, this bright Shekinah glory of God, is not against you. It's for you. It's in the person of Christ. It's that baby in the manger that came for you, that then lived and died for you. That's the glory of the Lord for you. And it's never going to go away. Ever. Ever. That refuge, that shelter is forever. No matter how much darkness, no matter how much pain, no matter how much grief, no matter how much suffering, Jesus is always with you because he absolutely loves you. That's our conversation at the table. Again, come experience this Jesus who loves you on Sunday. We'll be singing some Christmas songs. We'll be talking about the baby in the manger again on Sunday here in our worship. But it's also going to be a reminder that no matter what darkness that you're going through, no matter what darkness I'm going through, no matter what pain, no matter what the suffering is, no matter what the crisis is, we're going to remind ourselves that the one who came in the manger, that the one is symbolized by those nativity scenes that we've been talking about, that he absolutely loves us, unconditionally loves us. You see, the judgment landed on him. It's not going to land on you. It's going to land on Jesus. It has landed on Jesus. So that's our comfort in the midst of all of our grief. So come hear the promises of Advent on Sunday here at the Table Church in San Benito. Until then, whatever you're going through, I might be describing you, maybe I'm not. Maybe you're in a party mood, and that's okay too. We celebrate and we party because Jesus has given us everything that we need for these kinds of seasons. And so that's okay too. And you might be having a great day. I hope you are. But just remember this, whatever's going on, Jesus came to be your shelter, to be your canopy, to be with you in all kinds of darkness and all kinds of situations. He's never going to leave you, ever. He promised. And why? Because he unstoppably, unconditionally, and absolutely loves you. So till next time, Jesus has you. He always, always has you.